What's up? Welcome to another episode of Wednesday Warriors, and this week I've got some guests in the house. We gave Ambrosia the night off, but I've got Kyle, Krista, and Gerald in the house. Kyle, we're gonna come to you first, man. How's it going?
It's going.
It's going, man.
I'm not normally on the air as much as I've been today. It's been weird.
Yeah, man, you guys have been doing a whole heck of a lot. You guys got Comics Pros going on. You guys have tons and tons of streaming going on as well, man. It's been a busy start to the week, hasn't it?
Yeah, well, and we started earlier. We interviewed Fabrice Spolowski, Fabrice, who yeah. I never knew how to say his last name. I just knew him.
That's fantastic, dude.
About his new book that came out this week. Re-release of One Hit Wonder this week.
Yeah.
So that we started early with him, and then it's just continued all day.
That's awesome. And Krista, please let everybody know where they know you from.
You may know me as Cabbage Comics on Twitter, and I'm also the editorial director of Comicbook Yeti.
Welcome, and Gerald, please let everybody know where they found you from.
Hello, Internet. My name is Gerald Von Carr. I'm the managing editor of Breakneck Fantasy Anthology, bringing you magic, muscles, monsters, murder, and mayhem in 5 stories at a time.
Awesome, fantastic. So today we're gonna do things like completely off script because I had stuff to prepare for, but Ambrosia is stuck doing the teacher thing, so we gave her the night off, and she's doing the good work for everybody out there. So we're just gonna be sitting back and hanging out and talking just random stuff. But today we were talking a little bit ago. I don't know if you guys know, but Russell Crowe, his role from Kraven has reportedly been revealed. Do you guys have any idea what this could have been? Do you guys know?
I was playing D&D today, so I have not been staying up to date on the Russell Crowe news.
No, this is the first I've heard of it.
So way back when they were first talking about wanting to do an actual Kraven, I didn't. Jen messaged me. I couldn't see what it said though. I got to see it in a second. Maybe she wants to be a part of the show. But anyway, way back when they were talking about it was just like a rumor that they wanted to do Kraven as a movie. Mm-hmm. Russell Crowe was kind of attached to it. People were rumored, hey, we want him in there. But I was like, well, what could he do? Like, what is? But now it's been revealed that he's going to be his father of Kraven and Chameleon. And Chameleon has been revealed to be in the movie as well here with this last day or so, I believe. Mm-hmm. So very, very interesting news.
Is he
Well-
old enough for that job?
I think so. I mean, it was a controversial performance for some, but he's played a dad before. He played Jor-El, and in my estimation, he did a decent job. Please don't delete me from the stream for saying that.
Oh, here we go. We got Peter Rick.
Yo.
How's it going, Peter Rick?
Not bad yourselves.
We're doing wonderful. Let me introduce
Hi,
you real
Kyle.
quick.
Hi, Krista. Hi,
Hey.
Gerald.
Hello.
This is Peter Rick. He is the creator of Once Our Land and King's Vengeance. He is also part of all kinds of amazing EDM bands like Gang Signs and all kinds of other cool stuff, right, dude?
Yeah, Humans, Gang Signs, Lady Friend. I did a rock and roll band called The Red, and
Yeah.
I'm starting a new country. It's got dark country, outlaw, super dark, morbid band that's gonna come up soon.
That's
So there's quite a bit.
that's a crazy mashup, dude.
Yeah, there's a lot going on there.
So is it just
Like
Johnny
playing
Cash with more death?
Yeah, everything I do has a
We get
lot of
behind
death
that.
in it. It's sweet.
behind
I
that.
like it.
It's a good theme.
There you go. So we,
A lot of fans, a lot of fans. Everybody ends up there too, which is really weird.
yeah. So before you jumped in, we were talking about that. Craven the Hunter. They cast Russell Crowe, and he is going to be Craven Senior.
Sweet. What is Craven the Hunter though?
Craven, you don't know what Craven the Hunter is, dude?
No.
From ASM, dude. Oh man.
No. But I like Russell Crowe.
Yeah, dude, it's freaking awesome. I thought this was really cool. I thought it was awesome. I'm down
But
for
the
this.
fact that you're stoked, I'm stoked to see what it's gonna come out.
They've been busting Craven out for more than Spider-Man though lately. He's
Yeah.
been
Yeah.
in some of the spin-off books, which have been interesting.
Yeah,
Good.
they have been. There's a whole lot going on with that right now too.
Yeah, I just don't know that Russell Crowe looks old enough to be Aaron Taylor Johnson's dad. If Aaron Taylor Johnson is
That's fair.
Craven,
Yeah.
because he's
because Craven and his dad were like more years apart than you might think.
Mhm.
So I don't know, maybe like an older uncle
he's Hollywood old.
or like
So he's 85 in Hollywood years.
senior cousin of some kind. Now it works with Fred Heckinger, who's playing Chameleon. Now I could see that because that dude looks very young.
Mhm.
So I mean, like almost deceivingly young. So it can work. I suppose they're just gonna have to spray Russell Crowe's hair more gray than it already is, and
They'll CGI him up.
give
I'm
him
sure.
some
We'll
old
see
age
something.
makeup.
Yeah. We don't do practical effects anymore.
He's gonna need him anyway. Well,
Practical and CGI.
so I'll say that
Everything.
a friend of mine was in a movie with him. Did the Robin Hood film he did. My friend Alan Doyle played Alan O'Doyle in Robin Hood. And I got to meet Russell Crowe in that way you kind of meet a guy from across the bar. Like I was hanging out with Alan at a thing in New York, and Russell Crowe came in and they're homies. So it was one of those, hey, and he's like, I'm gonna go talk to him, and then he never came back to talk to me anymore. So it was like I've seen him in person, and he gave me a complex because no man should be that handsome.
In real life, it's surreal.
Right.
Yeah.
But like
funny.
I said, I think they're gonna have to do a lot of aging up to make it work.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm just listen. I'm a really horrible critic when it comes to stuff like that because I'm like, yes, let's do it. I don't even care. I'm just like excited about it all the time.
I'm excited depending on who's directing because
Yes.
a lot of the Sony movies are really bad. The Sony Marvel ones, except for the Spider-Man ones.
Have they even announced
so-
who's gonna direct it?
Yeah, that's always like if it's going to be good depending on who's directing.
Or
Yeah, I don't
you at
even
least
know.
have hopes that it would
Yeah,
be okay.
totally.
I'm a bit
Yeah.
grim when it comes to this kind of stuff. It's like, I don't know. But yeah, hopefully it's fun.
Yeah, I'm there for it. I'm down for it.
The director's J.C. Chandor,
What do you do?
who has directed A Most Violent Year, which was pretty good.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, that movie's amazing. Okay, it's gonna be great. Yeah, that's one of my favorite
and
movies.
Did you guys see
Nice.
the short? And this is like 16, 17 years ago. Despacito. It won a
Oh,
bunch of awards. It had Will Arnett and
Yes.
Why does that sound
Mhm.
familiar?
Yep.
yeah,
And
he
that's-
directed that.
Is that what Bieber wrote his song based off that movie? He saw
God,
that
I hope
short.
not.
It is immediately in my head. Thank you. It's never
Dang it,
going
now
away.
now it's gonna be an earworm.
But I remember studying in film school and they showed that, and it was like, oh, okay, yeah. So he's very good.
Okay. Hopeful. All right.
That movie, if you guys haven't seen it, The Most Violent Year is amazing. Super gruesome and dark, and it's based on true stories where gas tanks like used to get hijacked all the time on the highways, and it's got Oscar Isaac, and that redhead was in everything.
Jessica Chastain.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
Just
He
that
also did-
Recommend it.
That was all Google. That was not me.
You
Well,
delivered it super
God,
smooth though. Like, oh,
he
Jessica
did-
Chastain.
He did Triple Frontier on Netflix, which also had Oscar Isaac, but it had Charlie Hunnam and Ben Affleck.
Hmm.
Which,
That
is
was
that good?
that was a
I don't
war
think I've
movie.
seen it.
That
Was
was
it a horror movie?
no
War.
It's not even really a war movie. It's we were soldiers and now we're gonna do our own thing to go steal money.
Mercenary work. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I
They
saw
had
that
both-
movie. It was
It
okay.
had both Poe Dameron and The Mandalorian in it. As
Oh.
either
Yeah.
Poe Dameron or The Mandalorian.
It
So
wasn't
I
a
watched-
bad movie. It wasn't.
No,
a
it
bad
wasn't
movie.
bad.
It just wasn't like wow.
It was It wasn't a Most Violent Year.
No.
I'm gonna
So
check
this
that
is
out.
not necessarily a departure. It seems like it could be just because you're venturing into geek land, but subject wise, I think there'll be some commonalities there. Yeah,
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Tone and theme will line up.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I have another topic here to talk to you guys a little bit about because I was talking to Peter Rick about it. Is NFTs because he's a little bit of an expert with this stuff, and
I've been dabbling with it. I'm not an expert. If I was an expert, I'd be, I have a really nice background.
well, anybody who knows more than I do, I call him an expert,
Okay.
and that's basically anybody. So you're an expert. No, just kidding. But you know a little bit more than I do. But I have a buddy who's talking about him, and the reason why I'm bringing this up is because I saw on social media that there's a video floating around on YouTube video talking some comic book dude just saying that that NFTs is like basically a money pit for creatives. And I wanted to know, because I've got a bunch of creatives here, I wanted to know your perspective on that. Peter, let's go to you, or Krista, please.
No. I was about to say I have a lot of thoughts, so someone should hop in ahead of me.
I mean, a money pit meaning that you lose your money or you make money.
I lose money. I don't know. I just saw the thing and I was like, what is this guy
So,
talking
yeah,
about?
I just need to know, like, what does he mean by money pit? Like, is it like the movie Money Pit where they just put a lot of money in the house and then it goes nowhere? Because you can't do that. I mean, every time you make an NFT, it costs you money unless you get invited, and then the site, like whoever does it, pays for the minting. And then the way we did our PFP, which most PFP NFTs they do it, the people pay for the minting. So, and you get for super cheap. And there are some people who use it like as a pyramid scheme, kind of. You just like invest and you flip it. But I think the ones who are going to stay or who are going to become like Borg AP Up Club, they usually give some kind of value, and they have something that they're giving and a solid roadmap. And that's what we try to do with ours. And the ones I have is called Wastelanders. We're on Solana Network, so the transaction fee gases are really low. And I'm releasing the minting for the comic book. It's a 11-page comic with cover, so 12 pages on Friday or Saturday. I'm not even sure. Yeah, it's one of those days.
And that's the interesting thing too, because I was wondering, I was like, could this kind of thing open up a whole brand new world for the comic book community? And
it can, because like let's say.
Go ahead.
Yeah, let's say you guys bought an NFT PFP of Wastelanders, and then it shows up in the comic. Let's say And let's say we're talking about Marvel. So let's say you're one of the first who has a Spider-Man, and then Spider-Man, each time they use him, you get a royalty every time. You don't really own the character, but Marvel did a contract while they're sticking true to their words, because I'm sure they're not going to get a contract with lawyers because they'll get really messy. But if they stay to their words, every time they use him, they'll give you like 1 ETH. And so every time they use him for other things, you'll get rewarded for it. And then because your Spider-Man NFT is so popular, then your NFT is sought after. So you can sell it and then give it all away, or you can make more money. So that's the way how we're contributing in ours. So we have 3 different versions of our comic with slight variations. We have the bronze, silver, and gold, and we're paying Solana royalties to everyone we're using their characters. And then there's going to be more and more characters as the comic continues. And not only the comic book, but we're also going to be writing like stories. So there's going to be different ways, because drawing comic takes a while. So I think that's a really good way to do it.
So I also had I don't know if it was like a theory or because I was talking to my buddy and he was talking about smart contracts, and and I was like, okay, that's interesting, and he was telling me a little bit about how because I'm hearing through the grapevine that some comic book companies are kind of moving that way. And the way he kind of broke it down for me, I was like, well, what is this all about? And he says, okay, so I'm going to read what he kind of wrote here a little bit. And he says a smart contract is a computer program which automatically execute upon agreement. Inside of that smart contract, you can have layers of how people get paid. So rather than paying a publisher to control the money coming in, the royalties to the artists, inkers, and so on and so forth, percentages could be added in the smart contract. He says so basically what that means is smart contracts. You create a contract, you can put layers of people within there, so you can pay your inkers, you can pay your artists, you can pay your writers and all that stuff. And anytime that you make a contract with somebody, like say you're going to go and pitch it to somebody, they pick it up, everybody is paid in there rather than waiting for them to get all paid. It's all connected inside the smart contract, and everybody's going to receive their royalties that way.
So
that's
I actually have a smart contract.
What's that?
I actually have a smart contract that I'm part of, and I it's weird to me because I'm so used to paper contract, like old school paper contracts, like but I, in a past life, was in the music business and wrote a thing that's now being used by someone to do a thing, and they have to pay me because of our agreement. So, but they're doing a smart contract because they want their percentages in a different way than has been traditional. So I get paid when the crypto hits a certain point or so. I don't fully understand it. My lawyer's like, yeah, it's good. Sign it. Okay.
That's a great lawyer.
That's why I pay that guy.
So
but I like it. I like the concept of nobody has to worry about stuff. It just does.
Automation is a nice thing. Can I pull up? Can I kind of pull up for a sec? Because I'm coming at NFTs from a little bit of a different perspective. I work for an environmental nonprofit. I do comms for a water organization in California, and I am very interested in the environment, kind of the long-term environmental effects of blockchain. And I don't think it's entirely well understood yet. I think we need a lot more data. But I've been digging into kind of, green blockchain and what they use in terms of carbon offsets, which is, the most common way to offset the impact of the mining. And I think what's interesting is that a lot of folks are still looking at this in terms of planting trees. And that's such an interesting way to go about this because I won't bore you all with the biodiversity of new growth forests and that kind of stuff.
I love it.
But, but I think there's an interesting conversation to be had about kind of an overall commodification of nature when it comes to offsetting human activity. And so that's a conversation that I'm sure everyone knows is definitely happening in the comics community. And there are some pretty there are some folks who are pretty angry about NFTs who are saying, this is bad for the environment. Crypto is kind of blanket bad for everything. And yeah, so just kind of wanted to throw that in the mix and get folks' opinion on that.
Well, because Ethereum, it takes a lot of energy to create one Ethereum, but a lot of the new ones like Solana, which we're on, the reason it costs so cheap is because it doesn't take a lot of energy to make a Solana coin.
Is it proof of work or proof of stake? Do you know?
What's that?
The different ways they're the energy intensive ways that they're mined.
Oh, I have no idea. That's a good question.
Yeah,
because I know the Kickstarter thing, they're talking about how it definitely takes less energy. So I just think we need more information overall.
The side chains and all those things.
I think right now we're in that same time. Like, so I love history, and one of the things I love about history is the automotive revolution. We're at the time with crypto where cars switched from leaded fuel to diesel, or not diesel to unleaded. There were people who were fervently against unleaded fuel because they thought it would cost more and they thought all these things. And so I think leaded fuel is the old way we mined crypto. I think what Solana is doing and some of these other companies are doing is the unleaded, and we're going to see what is actually the most effective way and the best way on the whole, and it's going to play out over time. And because of the way America works, woo, America, the one that doesn't work as well is going to go away.
Yeah,
it will be Betamax.
Hopefully, yes. I would love, I'm going to be the fly in the ointment a little bit. I would love to put my faith in market-driven solutions. I do think that's where innovation does happen, like you said. And the reality is that crypto is not going to just up and disappear because folks are angry at it. So I think engaging with it and pushing for
asking the right questions, right? Asking the right questions and putting the people, asking those right questions. Because I think this is the things that we need to do. We need to continue to have a community to come together to talk about these things and say, hey, these are the things that we're seeing that because they're not going to go away. This is the thing.
But not being afraid to push for accountability.
We
that's
can
key.
exactly push for accountability in all things. Everybody, that's a good thing for everybody. On
apparently, ETH 2.0 is going to come out and it'll be way cheaper and it'll be way more efficient. So
I love that.
I know
and
they've been saying that for a while. So I don't know when it's releasing.
And that's what this is about, right? That we ask these questions, we talk about these things, and we bring the awareness up so that we make changes. And I love that.
Hopefully ones that are good for the environment overall.
Exactly. I'm right there for you.
We pivoted from NFTs to crypto, and I'm going to be honest, I know even less about crypto than I do about NFTs.
Well,
I have no stake in any of that world other than the world we live in.
And
my question about NFTs, particularly when related to comics, is, but why? Like, I understand a digital consumable product. Like, I understand if I'm playing League of Legends and I buy a virtual skin that is not something I can touch or feel or consume in my body or whatever, but I am able to use that in the game that I am playing. I have put a basic value on it based on the activity I am doing. If I buy an image NFT, I own it, but everyone else can still use it. There's no one restricting their use or viewage of it. I just get to say that's mine. If I make a comic and I say, this is my NFT comic, please pay me lots of NFT monies for it. And then everyone gets to still read the comic I made. But the one person says they own it and not me anymore. But why?
So let's say I put out a bunch of NFTs and I raise like $2 million. Like for me so you're investing in me, and now instead of me going to a studio who's gonna like give me so many notes and make it PG, we're gonna bypass all that. And then by you buying an NFT, then I will be rewarding you for using your NFT in it. And then some of them, what they do is like you can actually play your NFT as a character in a game. Like Pixelmon is one that's coming out. It looks pretty dope. So they're actually doing the game. So it depends how much you raise too. Like if I release a bunch of NFTs, I only make $10,000. Like I won't be making the comic and the game. So you're also, it's kind of a gamble because you're hoping that you trust the people who are releasing the NFTs. So you're investing in the people behind it. It's instead of like let's say Netflix would do a show and they say like, oh, would you pay a monthly fee extra and we'll make a Hellboy animated TV show like $60 million per movie. Like you'd be like, yeah, that's down. I'm down for that, and I get to reap some of the rewards. That'd be a great thing, a great value.
Oh,
I guess I'm just wondering how sustainable it is in the long term, in terms of a group of people. So, I mean, this is going to sound hilarious given that, the comics community is based on physical collections, but the shared perceived value of something and how that has the potential to pay off for artists and for audiences down the line. I don't know. We'll see.
I think the reason why I feel and this is only solely my opinion, and it doesn't mean anybody else. I feel the reason why it's in the comic book world is because we are part of the consumer world. We are part of the retail world. We make sales, we receive those things. So because of those things, because of the marketing, because of the strategies that go behind those things, NFTs is another resource out there, another tool. Here goes my buzzword, Kyle. Another tool out there.
Tool isn't a buzzword, dude. If you just said we're going to synergize the modernization.
Oh, no.
See, I'm not the only one, Joey. Krista just
my tool.
I signed off my day job. I don't want to hear that kind of language here.
It's my tool in my tool belt that I can use, to reach a whole other audience that I wouldn't use. I understand that aspect of it. Mm-hmm. And I get that. And that's where the people who are natural salespeople, the people who have a brand and they're naturally selling these things, I understand that aspect. And that's, but yes, when it comes to being part of a bigger company and more people are consuming these things, yes, we do have to think of things on a bigger scale, because yes, now we are outputting more into the world somehow, way or another. We need to make sure that we're doing that with clean energy. I understand that, and I'm there for that all day long.
I think two things worth noting here. I like what Peter said, that when you buy NFT, you are supporting the people behind it. And I like that concept. I took payment on a website I built in NFT from a comic artist who couldn't afford to pay me for the website, but could give me NFT that they had created of their art. Whether it ever becomes profitable for me or not, I don't really care. It's one of those, if I could figure out how to make some money on it, great. If I don't, cool. I helped. I'd basically done the website for free anyway. But there's other parts to this that I think we're still learning about. Like I read this article in the Washington Post yesterday about do you guys remember like 2015, this reporter and her cameraman got shot while reporting live on TV?
No.
Where was that?
Roanoke, Virginia.
Oh, that rings a bell.
Yeah. The dad of the reporter has created an NFT of the video.
Oh, wow.
So that he can make a copyright claim on it to try and get it removed from the internet.
So he can do takedown notices.
Interesting.
So I mean, that's part of this that I don't think has really been just gone through and played with. And the guy himself, I pulled up the article, says it's a Hail Mary.
Yeah.
But it's an opportunity to say, hey, I own this video. I own the NFT of this video. I have a copyright claim. YouTube and Facebook, you can't continue to show it.
Interesting.
The problem is that's a positive use. I think we'd probably all agree that's a positive use of that facilitation. But
it's one of those things that's there could be an ugly side of that too, because
immediately I like all of the stolen art that's been turned into NFTs already.
Mm-hmm.
And then that turns around and people say, well, I bought this for X amount of NFT monies. And
that's what we're calling it from now on.
I bought this from a reputable website. Whether you agree it's reputable or not, doesn't matter. I say it's a reputable website. I own it, and this person is reposting it or using it in a video with the creator's approval. But now there's copyright things. If the more legitimization of the process we give without oversight on the house.
Oh, certainly.
Well, you should always do your research. That's the one thing that a lot of people don't do. If you don't do your research, like for example, my NFTs, they're on Solana, but if they're the ones that are on OpenSea, they're on Ethereum, and those are all fakes. And if you're buying that, it's because you didn't check our website and see that we're actually on Solana and Magic Eden and not on OpenSea. So it's kind of like if you don't do your research, you might get screwed over.
I hear you.
Play too fast.
I totally hear you, and I'm a firm advocate of, whatever you're doing, whether it's a comic book contract or, selling your art in whatever forum, definitely do your research. Yeah. I think the grim reality is that people won't, unfortunately. Yeah. So what kind of safety mechanisms can we build into something that may not be going away, whether some of us want it to or not, so artists are protected? And I'm just going to say it again so we can investigate the environmental impacts of these technologies. Thanks for being open to dialogue. I appreciate it.
Well, the natural thing that we as human beings do, right? What does it do? And what do we do when we find that hey, there's this side of this ugly side of it, or there's a really shiny side over here, but it can be used in a negative way. It's what we do from that point is we start to put regulations in place, right? So
Rails,
we need to make sure that we do those things in a smart way, though. We can't because this is not going away, but it's also going to help us as well, I feel, but we need to do it in the right way.
Right. We're still very early on in this technology. I mean,
it's bleeding edge pretty much. Yeah.
Right. As long as crypto has been around, and NFTs are new, like brand spanking new, and crypto's not been around that long. And so there's a level of you kind of got to shoot your shot until you realize that you've missed. So, we need to keep exploring. Yeah. What's it doing to the environment? What's it doing for artists? What is the theft rate? What is
there are companies out there that are doing their due diligence.
Oh, sure. Absolutely.
I will have to say that.
And it just needs to pan out, right? Like we need to see it. We need to give it more time before my line has always been, I don't feel one way or the other about NFTs or crypto.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a strong opinion on them because I don't know enough about them. I don't have enough data to say I like them or I don't. I think if you can use them to your advantage, great. I think if you're really concerned about the environment, don't take advantage, don't be a part of it, and do your thing to battle it in terms of planting, diverse growth allergen forests.
And don't do that.
I'm an indoor cat. If I go outside, I start sneezing. But you got to do what you need to do, right? Like find your lane and support your lane, and then at the end, it'll all kind of. I have friends who don't own cars because they don't like the carbon footprint of a car, but at the same time, I have to have a car. So it's you pick your lane and then you do your thing, and in the end, it'll all balance, I think.
But the scary
thing. Can I say one thing? Sorry.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, after you. Yeah.
But the scary thing with saying I don't have enough information and I'm gonna wait. But the thing is, because if we don't have enough information, are we gonna be that person who's gonna go out there and get that information, or are we going to trust? And here we go. Are we going to trust the experts' opinions?
Never trust anyone in authority. That's my motto.
Right. Well, what I'm saying is we don't have enough data points.
Well, listen, if they're an expert in their field, they're gonna know their field. Listen, I am going to say this, and I hate tooting my own horn, but I will say I am an expert. I am an expert in podcast editing and all that stuff, right? I will say that, and I can say, you gives me a scenario, I will find out what the problem is for you, as long as it has to do with hardware and software, computer, music, what software, whatever. That's my gift that whatever higher power gave me. But I feel like if we are doing this, we have to trust people that actually know their field.
But
So,
Joey, with audio, you have, I'll use your example. You have data points to say this is how this should sound. This is how this should look. This is how this is what this should produce. I'm saying with NFTs and crypto, we just don't have enough data points to have a definitive answer as to what is what across the board. Because what is what for Peter?
I feel the layman doesn't. I feel the layman doesn't, but I feel like the experts do it, because there are people out there that in their field that have more knowledge about this to do. Peter, you said you had something.
Yeah, so for the artists who are getting ripped off and the climate thing, if you think about the artists with cassette tapes when you were doing bootlegs, and the artists who make songs with the bootlegs and not paying royalties, and then you had the CDs. CDs are also a lot of plastic, and then you had Napster.
Yeah.
Yeah, now you have Napster after that, and so there's always somebody who's going to make money off the real artist. So there's always a way to scam somebody, and there's always a climate issue with like all the plastic from all that. So at least we got rid of the plastic, but we are consuming more energy, but we're not consuming energy to make plastic.
I think what we need to do in terms of like this, and kind of to open it up to like what we need to do as human beings, is we need to have a better global conversation about what it means to be carbon neutral or carbon negative, because offsets and letting the market drive the demand for those NFTs, whatever, it's not working. You know, the ways in which we can sequester carbon, they're not permanent. We treat natural infrastructure like it's something that can be tweaked to human desires, when nature's going to do what it's going to do. And if you get a forest wiped out because of a storm, all that carbon goes back up, So it's an interesting conversation. I am not a fan of putting the brakes on any kind of innovation in society. And I am also all for getting artists paid, period. But I do think we do need more data, and we do need, there's enough out there to suggest that crypto does have a detrimental environmental effect. So we need to do something about it,
Totally.
Yeah. All I'm going to say is I admire those who are stepping out and going out there and in that world right now, because we're talking about all the scary parts of it. We're talking about the angry parts. We're talking about the happy parts. We're talking about everything in between. But this is what this world is with the NFTs, and it's not going to get. We may not like it. We may not, but we're here talking about it, and we're here living with it. And yes, there are parts that we need to do better in it. We can talk about that on a lot of levels, right? But that's where it is. I think Krista had the best, to hold everyone accountable. I think
we all got to do better.
Do better. In
whatever way we can. I hear you, Peter.
Yeah. I think, and I do feel that there are some companies out there that are aware of those bad parts, and they are really making a shift to change it. So there are good companies, good NFT companies, good crypto companies that are doing good things to change it. Right, I will say that for sure. But yes,
they're curious, I would say. I'm not going to subscribe.
Okay, I will say they're taking a step in the right direction.
I'm always going to push it. That's the way I am, and it's the work that I do, both inside and outside of the industry. But I think inquiry is always best, so I can definitely meet you there.
Yeah, awesome. I love that. Let's see. I don't have anything else. Well, I do have a couple other things, but I don't know. You guys excited for Batman coming up? I feel like
I am for sure.
I rented an entire movie theater for it.
You did?
Yes.
It's amazing.
Nice.
Well, I two reasons. One, it comes out 2 days after my birthday.
Nice.
So it's going to be my birthday party,
Happy
and my
birthday.
business partner's birthday is like 6 days after. So we're going to do I called the movie theater and go, look, we're both in our mid-30s, but can we book a children's birthday party for us with a Batman screening?
Good.
And the movie theater went, you got cash? I went, yeah. They're like, okay, we'll do
How
that.
many people have to go in? Like, how many people can you fit?
As many up to 30.
Oh, that's good. That's a good number.
I could do up to 30. But the other thing that does is it lets me yell at the screen when I'm disappointed or angry with the movie without worrying about other people's enjoyment.
Oh,
hopefully you won't be
private
screaming
thing.
in a disappointment.
I don't think so either.
Well, Joey knows this about me. I have been disappointed with every comic book movie ever made for some reason.
All of them? Each and every
one of them.
Even the first Batman?
Yes, every single one of them. Be the book or be nothing.
I think Kyle is the grumpy old man way before his time.
Yeah, no, I used to say be the books or be nothing, and then Endgame and Infinity War came out, and I didn't like Infinity War because I felt like they had only done half of their homework and wanted an A. And then they did Endgame, and I'm like, okay, they've completed their homework. Redo the grading. That's a joke for Ambrosia. So, like, then those movies happened. I softened on the be the book or be nothing stance, but my thing is that I've devoted my life to comic books and the consumption of this media. I'm an expert. Yeah. If you can't live up to what the book did, don't make a movie of it. I see. I'm not that harsh. Man, because I'm all about creativity and giving me something in the world. Listen, and also, dude, I think they are gonna do something right, and I really hope that they do something right by you, because there's already talk that there could be a spin-off and some sequels. Well, and like I'll give you an example. I loved Shazam.
There's a Penguin.
Such a good movie. Yep.
Yeah.
Right.
It's one of the best kids movie I've seen.
Right. It's not at all like the comic book, but they lived up to what the comic book was.
It's got like a sprinkling of Justice League International in there.
Yeah. What about Hellboy 2? Hellboy 2 is amazing.
That one was crazy.
Both Hellboy movies were great.
I didn't like the first one. I like the second one a lot.
Unpopular opinion, Shazam was just
How dare you.
No.
But what Shazam did, Joey, and this is the thing, is it lived up to what the comic books were. In terms of it was a fun time. It didn't take itself super serious.
Yeah.
It was, it just kind of was an all ages kind of romp.
But I'm also not a huge fan of like what the heck is that other one? What's that one on HBO? The
Peacemaker?
The Boys? Peacemaker? Yeah.
The horrible one.
You're gonna have to be more specific.
The horrible one, Doom Patrol.
What?
Yeah.
I hate Doom Patrol.
Wait, that was on HBO?
Okay, I'm curious. Yeah. What's not doing it for you? Do you like the comic?
I don't. I'm not a fan of the comic book either.
Okay,
no, I've just never been a comic fan of it. It's just But listen, I will say this though: the show does live up to the comic books, and that's one of the reasons why I was going there.
Because you hate it, and then the show you hate it, so it lives up to the hate.
It lives up to both ways I hate it.
But that's the role that's the place I've taken in these things. If you live up to what your comic book did, then I'm good for it. Like
so they are making Kyle happy.
Well, Shang-Chi was a great example of a comic book movie telling a new story, a different story. Shang-Chi.
Oh, okay. I didn't like that one.
It told a different story than the comics, but it lived up to what the comics were.
See, but I loved it because I'm like a huge like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon like kind of stuff.
Right.
I really I still didn't like it.
But, okay, how about this? You guys probably don't know this one. I'm gonna pull this one out. Seven Swords. Have you seen it?
I don't know this one.
Oh, it's so sick. Look it up. So dope.
I just was in a show where I talked about Seven Deadly Venom for an hour.
That was the first time I seen
Donnie Yen.
The first time I ever seen Donnie Yen was in Seven Swords, and
he's my boy. I love him.
So sick.
My main issue with Shang-Chi was actually it's more like Crouching Tiger, like the Chinese drama type, than like a kung fu movie. And there are ways in which you can investigate some of the exploitative parts of kung fu movies by modernizing stuff. And I wanted it to be more Gordon Liu and less less wire work.
And I can understand that for sure, but when you consider that the original comics were like this kind of yellow scare, red scare fueled.
You have work to do.
engine.
Yeah.
Like it's pretty easy to clear the comic books,
Mhm.
and this movie did that by leaps and bounds.
Yes.
So it more than lived up to what the comics were. And then you have a show like Eternals, a movie like Eternals, that was a pretty decent representation of what was never a great comic.
That's fair.
So they
That hurt my
nailed it.
soul, man.
I know. I felt it. Everybody.
I
felt
walked out
it.
of the theater for that one.
No,
You
really?
walked out of
Oh,
Eternals?
Wow.
Yeah,
I
it
walked
was so
out of
boring.
Wow.
DC Suicide Squad the first time.
Oh my gosh.
Batman versus Superman: Dawn of Justice.
That was a tough one.
What was the third one I walked out of? They were all 3 DC movies.
Oh my gosh. All of them.
Birds of Prey.
Oh yeah, that
love-
one's really bad.
I love
Oh,
Birds
you
of
liked
Prey.
it?
Yeah,
No
I do.
way.
I
Okay.
think so. Here's my pitch, just for me, for Birds of Prey. I
Okay.
think it's off the rails storytelling, and the fact that it's from Harley's perspective means that there's a lot of kind of vicious joy in that, and they're doing some interesting stuff if you know where to look. I get why people don't like it. I didn't make the movie. I don't have a stake in people liking or not liking anything. It just it really did it for me. I was surprised.
Listen, that
But
movie,
what I really didn't
that-
like about
that
the movie
movie-
was, oh sorry.
no, all I was gonna say was I was gonna say something dumb, and now I feel bad.
No, it's fine.
I was gonna say that movie made me perfect my egg sandwich. Just saying.
Oh, yeah.
Listen,
Well,
that's
this
what's
would
up.
justify
If you,
any piece of garbage.
What bothered me is like bad writing is when she says she's really smart, but she does nothing that's smart, and she has to tell you as opposed to show it. It's like, okay, you're smart, but you're doing everything out of your ass, and nothing is planned,
I
and
do feel
everything you do is completely not thought out. So you actually aren't smart, and you're telling us you're smart, and you're trying to convince us like how.
But that's Harley Quinn, though. I feel like
I would
Harley
argue
Quinn-
that's the point. Yeah, it's an
I
unreliable
feel like
narrator.
Harley Quinn is that. Harley
Yeah.
Quinn is literally she's a.
But
she's
isn't she
smart,
supposed
but
to be
she's-
really smart?
But yeah, she's really smart. But
She
she's
has a
trying
PhD.
to.
But she
she's
never
trying
shows
not to
us that
be.
she's smart.
I don't think she's trying to be. I think she's running from being smart. I think that's her whole character.
I think
Okay.
there are many portrayals of Harley that could use a little bit of scaffolding, especially looking back on them. But yeah, I really like her viewpoint in some ways. For some people, I think is impenetrable. Like you're either going to be on board or you're not in something like Birds of Prey, and I was, and other folks aren't. And Twitter was very angry about it, I have to say.
Twitter's angry about a lot of stuff.
Oh, that's true.
Hey guys, I gotta go, but that was really fun. Thanks for
Thanks
having
for
me.
chatting.
Thanks, Peter.
Yeah.
Thank you. Have fun. I know where you're going. Have fun.
Cheers. Bye.
Yeah, man, thanks for hanging out with us, Peter. Listen, I feel like that is the reason, the whole thing of Harley Quinn. That's her whole setup for her whole entire character. I feel.
Yeah, she's chaos personified. Like she is someone who is smart, who is trying to live the life of Joker, right?
Yes.
She tries to take on the chaos. So she still has those moments of like ding light bulb, but most of the time it's running headlong away from that.
Yep.
My problem with the movie wasn't Harley Quinn at all. It was the minimization of these other characters
Oh yeah,
that are the Birds of Prey that
Huntress
are
and
so
Huntress was so
badass.
Oh, she was. I think,
And they're like,
Huntress was
okay, they're
definitely-
sidekicks to Harley. And I will say this: the opposite is true of the Harley Quinn animated series with the girl
Cuoco.
from The Big Bang Theory, Kaylee Cuoco as Harley, and my dude Ron Funches as King Shark. Like, I started watching that movie because I'm friends with watching that show because I'm friends with Ron Funches, and it was one of those things where it's like, oh, this is amazing.
Yeah.
I cheer for Kite Man.
Who wouldn't? Come on.
Like I want Kite Man to like win at everything. Like this makes no sense to me. So
Now-
I don't think Peacemaker would, right? Is that what?
I think the issue for some people, and this is to kind of your point, Kyle, earlier about matching up transmedia with comics. The problem with the movieverse is that a lot of people know Harley and they know her from the animated series coming into comics and maybe coming back out, or maybe they've never read a single comic with her. And so from a marketing standpoint and a studio standpoint, it makes perfect sense. Like, we'll introduce the Birds of Prey through the lens of this character who's a tested fan favorite. And then I agree, it's a little frustrating for someone who comes at it from different lore, basically. Yeah.
Right. And that's the thing that I've really had to kind of tell people and explain and come to terms with on my own, is that I recognize that these movies are not for me.
That's key, right? Yeah.
Right. I recognize these movies, that does not make them good. Just because I realize they're not for me. I hated the last Spider-Man movie.
I haven't seen it yet.
Like the one that just came out?
Yes.
No.
But I also, because I have an encyclopedic knowledge of the character Spider-Man,
No.
I recognize that movie was not made for people
All right, let's test him. No, just kidding.
who are going, I know every Spider-Man that's ever been created, and I know this is not a thing. Right? Like, that movie was made for people who have followed the Spider-Man cinema.
Well,
world.
yeah, obviously. That's why they did it. It was definitely
right. That doesn't make the movie good or bad. It wasn't for me. I didn't like it. That was still a great movie.
Listen, the way I find it out if a movie is good or bad is if I'm smiling and laughing and having fun in the middle of a freaking theater.
My enjoyment has nothing to do with
and
my enjoyment.
I didn't smile during
Mandy,
Mandy, and that's one of my favorite movies, so I can't use that metric for. But I understand what you're saying.
All I'm saying is I love it. I love it all. I don't care.
If you smiled through my favorite movies, Joey, you would have to get checked for being some sort of psychopath.
As soon as I said it, I was gonna get something from.
Well, no, like if you smile through Saw, like you probably ought to go see somebody.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I'm not. But how about this though? I'm gonna just change the subject. Are you guys excited for the Netflix Marvel shows going to Disney Plus?
Actually, yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
true.
Hey, Dirk, this is absolutely true. Dirk says that, to be fair, Kyle doesn't like much. You're right. He knows Kyle. He knows Kyle.
It's true.
If somebody is saying that about Kyle, they know him. They know him
right.
well.
It's true. I don't like much. I enjoy things, but I don't like them.
Yes, JL says, how about this? Change subject.
But no, for real though, I'm very excited for them going to Disney Plus.
Really? Okay, so I had somebody say, okay, if they're moving to Disney Plus, do you think they're gonna start censoring them?
What do you mean?
I hadn't given that any thought, but I'm excited to see some of those actors.
Like bleep the swears.
That and the ratings are gonna drop to make it fit Disney Plus.
I don't think it'll matter.
What is fit Disney Plus? They had the rated R Die Hard. And that's like
everything.
Like my day job is with high school students. I run programming in the residence. I was like, oh yeah, a bunch of them requested to watch Die Hard for their Christmas movie. I'm like, yeah, sure, it's on Disney Plus. F-bomb, 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 boobs, F-bomb, F-bomb, F-bomb. I'm sitting in the back of the room like, oh no.
No one signed permission slips for this. Uh-oh.
Oh my gosh. That's how old we are. That's how old we are. We're giving our age away by telling people that we had to sign permission slips to watch a movie.
I've watched Die Hard so many times on television that I
forget where it is.
I forgot how many F-bombs there are. And I'm sitting in the back like, no.
This is not the version I saw.
Right. We got a teacher in trouble in middle school for watching The Sixth Sense.
Oh my gosh.
Because he didn't get permission slips.
Oh man.
For a rated R movie. But no, the reason I'm excited for them, I don't think they'll edit them because that just costs too much time and money. But not that Disney doesn't have time and money. I think they own both. But I think you'll start to see Mike Coulter or some of these other actors show up in stuff, even if they've not announced them like they did. So
they've already been doing that since.
Well,
they've been doing that a lot.
They blatantly announced the people who are going to be in Hawkeye, right? But they've not said that they're going to bring back Mike Coulter as Luke Cage or some of these other characters. I think, I would love to see Alden Hansen.
Who did they? They only announced what Jessica Jones is. No, wait, did they not?
No, they didn't announce Jessica Jones. They said Kingpin,
Charlie Cox,
Daredevil, and Punisher.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
There we go.
But The one continuity issue that comes up isn't Rashala Ali? Am I even saying that right?
Marshall Ali.
Yeah.
That one felt
Yeah.
weird in my mouth as I
He's
said
dead.
it.
He's dead in the.
Yeah, he's
Cottonmouth
already
is
dead,
Blade
but
now?
isn't he
Yeah.
past his
Blade?
blade?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, he played Cottonmouth, and yeah,
However,
it'll be interesting having it all in kind of one funnel, one continuity funnel, and maybe they'll just be like, "Don't worry about it," which is how
fine.
comics handles
Yeah.
it.
That was a different guy. He looks just similar.
No,
Come
no,
on.
no.
It's
He's
all
a
right.
lovely actor, and I'm really excited to see what he can do with Blade.
if they play it off that Cottonmouth had been bit by a vampire right before he died, and I will lose my mind.
That feels like a comic book decision that could happen.
I would be like, totally makes sense.
There you go.
But then the gamma rays hit him, and
Kyle's
Right,
back on board.
Right.
Or a portal opens and you got to take him back.
I would get so angry at the writing, but I'd be like, you know what? That's totally a thing that would happen in a comic book.
Right.
Mhm.
Hey guys, we got just a few minutes left. Let's talk about usually end the show with like some pull list stuff, but this week Ambrosia's not here, but we have Gerald in the house and he's got a stack of books right there on his desk that he's somewhere. He's looking around
all around my desk.
but okay, all right, man. What's in your pool this week, man?
Do you have a publisher you want me to look at?
Just drop them all, man. Let's see. What do you got right there closest to you?
Okay, my Marvel pile.
Oh, he's got them separated.
Yeah, they're sorted. I've got Hulk 4, but I still have to read Hulk 3, so that's also in this pile.
I would suggest reading them out of order just to confuse yourself.
It's
That's
a
fair.
non-linear medium, so
So here's the thing. I've been collecting all the Devil's Reign stuff, but I think I missed Devil's Reign 2 and 3.
Oh, it's
But
so
I have
hard
a bunch
to
of
keep up.
spin-offs.
Are you doing all the tie-ins too?
The ones that interest me.
Yeah.
Strange Academy has been super fun.
Ooh.
I got into it like a month too late to be able to back order issue 1.
Oh no!
And so now I have the collected edition of the first arc, and I have issues 2+. So I need to find an issue 1.
You got to go through those back issue bins. You'll find it eventually.
Ooh.
Oh, my back. So I'm in Canada, and let me tell you, back issues are expensive here.
Oh,
They just went up. My local store went up to $2.99 a back issue.
Whew.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
Yeah. And I was like, I understand because you just refilled all of them with like comics from the past 3 years.
That's fair. Yeah.
But also,
Where are you at in Canada?
Southern Ontario. I'm in the Niagara region, so across the lake from Toronto.
I was gonna say, because if you're in Toronto, like we could just meet at the border. Because I'm only an hour and a half from.
I am even closer. I work outside of Niagara Falls, Canada.
Okay, well, I'm 40 minutes from Windsor. Yeah.
There you go. Look at there.
So
you,
like
you
we could
found
just meet
something
at the border and I can hand you one.
and just like here you go, and just like do some digs for him, and just here you go.
Right.
Here's
We
your
just gotta
25
avoid whatever
cents.
that trucker protest is, and we'll be good.
Bring in people together, one comic at a time.
There you go.
The trucker protest is all over. Like it's everywhere. There's local people who drove by my house a couple nights ago just honking, and it was like 15 minutes of just people driving down the rural highway. And I'm like, no one, you're not doing anything here. You're not doing anything here.
You're mildly annoying 3 residents. Please stop.
Listen, all I'm going to say is your guys' protests are cute. They're so adorable.
Have you seen the people? They're not cute.
Our protest people die. So it's I want to protest.
Way to go dark, Joey.
Well, that is a legitimate argument I made. Like, look, to not to get into the whole political nonsense of it, because I have stayed in my personal and my public life. I have tried to stay away from it.
Mhm.
I did make the argument. At least no one has died about when arguing with discussing it with someone at work who is
That's a
very
grim low
anti-protest.
bar.
Yeah, it's a grim low bar.
Doesn't it suck that we have to say that? Like,
Yes.
why can't we go back to when protests were like, you're like, hey, you guys did something. That's awesome. You made a change. And now they just pull everybody out of the street. Listen, that's a different podcast.
Yeah,
but don't get me.
Let's move away from controversial
Let's
topics.
talk about establishment tactics.
Yeah.
Let's move away from controversial topics.
Yeah, let's have fun and talk about numbing stuff.
And talk about the controversy of me not liking movies again.
I can keep going. Mindbreaker, the D&D with Jim
nice.
Zub.
So good.
Mhm.
I heard
That's
about
a super
that
fun book
Zub puts so much joy into his storytelling. It's just always a blast.
every time. And he's a very sweet man.
And
I
I've
believe it.
interacted with him a couple times on
I believe
Twitter.
it. Mhm.
When I opened submissions for Breakneck Fantasy Anthology, I shot my shot and was just like, "Hey Jim, we've talked twice about D&D in private messages. Do you want to be in my anthology?" And he was extremely sweet about telling me no. just no. I'm like, I get it. I understand.
Hey, shoot your shot. A buddy of mine did an anthology and got Mark Wade.
Nice.
He shot his shot. Always shoot your shot, right?
Exactly. Was it
Always
his
be respectful
very
and shoot your
first
shot. Yes.
anthology?
Hey, look, that's how I got this job. That's how I
Yes,
got
but
this
he
job,
was
right?
lucky he had a publisher behind it, so that helped.
Changes things.
Yeah, but still, like, always shoot your shot. You never know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And like I said, he's a very sweet man. And his Conan run was fantastic.
Oh, it was so much fun. It was so it threw me right back to the old school, just really solid runs. Yeah, it was very good. And coming off of Aaron, that was a tough act to follow, but it was great.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Super cool.
And he's got the Thunderbolts coming out. I'm just gonna start shilling Jim's up stuff now. The
Everybody
new
check him out if you
lineup.
haven't.
He
He's
earned it.
delightful. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Who
What else?
Who else can I shout out here?
Can I put in a plug for one comic?
Yeah, please.
Read Radio Apocalypse. It's
That's one of the
unbelievable.
books on my pull list this week.
Mhm.
Oh,
Yeah.
So good.
And I haven't. I lied. I have two.
what publisher is that from?
Vault.
Yep.
Vault. Okay.
And an indie book that just popped out from two of my colleagues on Twitter, Lane Yates and Erica Price, is Ursula. It's a trans horror story. It is very cool. If you're
Nice.
into body horror, it is the comic for you.
I'm not, but that sounds cool.
So on the Radio
I love weird
Apocalypse
stuff.
tip, absolutely. On the Radio Apocalypse tip, really anything by Ram V.
Oh, delightful.
Yeah, I mean, we'll show for Jim Zub, we'll show for Ram V. Really anything.
And
by
the
them.
teams that he brings with him too. He works with such amazing people across the board. It's pretty special.
Absolutely.
Kyle, you got anything on your list?
So the all new Firefly #1 by David Boer.
Ooh.
Yeah. Kaylee's the captain of Serenity. But it's the Janest Jane story ever Jane. That was a lot of fun this week. I also got a shout out Emo Girl, which I only got the first 3 pages of for preview.
Yeah.
But totally feels like every girl I dated in high school.
Isn't that a Machine Gun Kelly song now?
I don't know about that,
Oh,
but
dear.
it's from a new company called Blood Moon Comics.
Yeah, the
Super
covers look
small
really cool.
publisher.
I saw some of the other stuff that they got going on, and the covers look cool. We are a bunch of geeks who judge things from covers, right? Everybody says you don't judge a book by covers, but we do because we're like, oh, cool cover. But the covers,
I
look
do
good.
not include me in that. I'm like, it's a lie, it's a trap. Open the book.
Listen, I love it too. Listen, I
know.
I read them. I collect them. I read them. I do it all. I buy them digitally. I will buy. I am notorious for buying a physical copy and then turning around, buying a second one, and then turning around and buying it digitally because I don't want to open 2 of those other 2 that I bought.
Yeah, I have 2 more, Joe, if we got a minute.
Yes, please.
So from Boom Studios and Archaea, I'm going to sell you on issue 2, but only issue 1 is out. The Killer Affairs of the State, #1.
Yeah.
Issue
I saw
1
that crop
suffers
right up.
from, and I'm going to be honest, suffers from some pacing issues.
Mm.
But you know where it's going. Like, it's paced slowly because they have to build the world so completely for it to be able to, like, it's climbing the roller coaster hill.
Mm.
And it's one of those things where you're getting to the top and you're starting to have anxiety at the end of issue 1 just before you go over the top. So there's that one. And
That's good.
Then also from Vault, We Ride Titans #2.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Issue #1 like hit me right in the feels as an alcoholic and someone who has dealt with some of that stuff. Issue 2 feels like I said this last night on my show. You're just waiting for her to go, "You're not my real dad." But it ends on a huge, massive cliffhanger.
Nice.
So super fun read as well.
Nice.
Yeah, that's on my list.
I got a couple from Scout that are going to be dropping in my list. We got Shepard the Valentine #1. Super dope. Andrea Molinari and his son. And we got Dancing with the Dragons #4. King Jira #1. This one's one of my favorite ones. This was from.
I'm so pumped about that.
It's
so
so
pumped
good.
about that.
It's so good. It follows I don't want to give away because it's just so good. But let's just say it makes me really hungry for pizza. All I'm gonna say. And we got Red Shift #5 and Distorted #1 from Salvatore Vivenzio and Gabrielle Falzone. And I actually got to speak with them. I was supposed to drop an episode today, but I was like, I got so much to do. So I'm gonna edit it tonight and drop it tomorrow. Hopefully, we'll see. But their book just dropped today. It stinks because it had so many different delays because of the paper shortages. It was supposed to be out like last month. So it's now out there in the world, in the wild. Get it, and it's absolutely awesome. I don't know if you guys know what it's about, but it's really, really cool.
It's a cool book.
Impossible Jones 3 is out as well. And then a scoop book, book 1 of Action Tank dropped.
Oh, I love Mike Berry so much. I got the chance to check out Action Tank when he was self-publishing it, and that book is something special.
It is. It's a really good one, so you guys should check that one out. And then Gods of Brutality 4 dropped as well from Black Caravan.
Nice.
I have one I forgot about that I haven't read yet, and that's why I forgot about it.
Yeah.
Heavy Metal Drummer #1 from Behemoth.
Oh, yeah. That one sounded really good. I wanted to check that one out too.
Well, anything set in 1986 starring a drummer, it's like, oh, it's about me. Got it.
There you go.
Here's the part where I mentioned I was born in 1985.
I wasn't born yet in 1986, but
what?
I identify as a Gen Xer.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Okay.
I was in 84. I'll just say
nice.
that.
I've got a little bit of Gen X cred, not too much, but my music taste is pretty good.
My
I'm
first
the
job
baby on the stream.
Oh, how old are you?
1990.
Oh wow. He's a youngin. I can remember where I was in 19.
Listen here, whippersnapper.
Oh man. Oh, that just made me feel old. Kyle, you better be older than me.
That's not too much of a
no, I'm not.
Oh,
I'm 1988.
I'm depressed now.
But I will say this: some of my first jobs were with bands, working with bands that had hits before I was born.
There you go.
Oh yeah.
I worked with groups like Bad Religion and some of those that solidified my Gen X cred.
Fair. That's fair.
Oh, there you go. He's like, "Who's this?" That's your uncle. No,
I'm going to see Gary Newman tomorrow. I'm super pumped.
Ooh,
so
that'll be
nice. The last show I went to was literally the year before everybody shut everything down, and it was Silver Sun Pickups. And I gotta say, I am cool with that being my last show ever because they're one of those bands that is better in person than they are like when you listen to them like their CD or whatever.
I miss live music for that.
I have tickets to go see Flowbots next month.
I'm
and
gonna go
I
cry.
have tickets to see Bare Naked Ladies, Toad the Wet Sprocket, and the Gin Blossoms together.
I was about to say that's a very like, tight section of
the last Summer on Earth tour.
That's what I was saying.
I'm working on Kraftwerk tickets. They're coming around, and I got to see them a couple years ago in Oakland, and just amazing.
In the span of 6 days, I'll see Neil Gaiman speak twice and see Flowbots.
Nice.
That's gonna be a fun week.
Yeah, I'm a huge Kraftwerk. Like my favorite band.
Industrial. Yeah.
My favorite band is Depeche Mode.
I love Depeche Mode. Who doesn't love Depeche Mode? Someone say
If
it.
you don't like
Prove
Depeche
me
Mode, leave.
wrong. No, it's totally fine. Love synth pop, love industrial, love all kinds of weird, post punk, all kinds of good stuff.
Awesome. Thank you all for hanging out with me right here, and it was a wonderful time hanging out with all of you. Ambrosia will be back next week. Kyle, please let everybody know where they can find you.
The Experience.
There you go. Easy.
The EXP, the_EXP, or the_EXP1, depending on the platform. But I don't remember which ones are which. That's Joey's job now, and that's where I'm at.
Yep, I'm working on that.
I'm also on the TikToks, but I don't make content, so why would I mention it?
That's gonna change. I will work with you on that. Gerald, please let everyone know where they can find you.
Hello, everyone. You can find me on Twitter at gvonkar, GVONKAHR, or you can find my anthology at Breakneck Anth, ANTH. We are in our last 4 days at this time.
Nice.
4 days on Kickstarter.
Where are you guys at right now? Do you have it up for us really quick?
Sure.
While you're doing that, we'll hear from Krista. See where can they find you?
Yeah, you can find me at Cabbage Comics on Twitter, kc-comics.com, and at Comicbook Yeti.
Awesome. It's been a whole lot of fun hanging out with all of you. I'm super excited. Oh, cool. Here we go.
Yep.
We got the link. I'll drop links and all that good stuff in the chat for you guys, but make sure you guys head on over to Breakneck Anthology and Kickstarter and check that out. Awesome. And then thank you guys for hanging out with me right here on Wednesday Warriors Live. Kyle, Krista, and Gerald, thank you guys. It's been a whole heck of a lot of fun.
Yeah,
thank
thanks
you,
for
Joey.
the dialogue. Appreciate it.
Yeah, and we'll see you guys next week. And next week we will have Ambrosia back in the house. Hopefully, if all of the parent-teacher conferences are over, and I guarantee you guys, she definitely misses being here with us. So we'll be back right on schedule next time. We'll see you guys later. Bye.
Awesome.